Are you able to see my screen? Okay. So the topic which we are going to discuss today is snapshots. Okay, which is very, very important. Okay. So what is snapshot actually? What is the purpose of the snapshot? So snapshot is a point in time copy, point in time image copy of the data. Okay, point in time image copy of the data. So the main purpose of the snapshot is to protect our data. For example, if we deleted something accidentally, okay, when we want it back, we can restore the data, like whatever we have deleted or whatever the data that got corrupted due to some virus or something, we can restore the data back from snapshots. Okay, so I'll let you know how snapshots will work. Let's talk about that. So let's assume that this is my volume. Okay, volume called vol1. Okay, and let's assume I have some data in this volume. See, again, in order to explain it properly, I'll just take data in the format of A, B, C, D, something like that. But snapshot will work at block level. Okay, so don't think like it will uh, snapshots will be taken based on the characters or something. Okay, just A, B, C. Okay, let's assume that this is the data what I have in my volume. Okay, so I have created a snapshot on top of the volume. Okay, I've created a snapshot on top of the volume. The snapshot name is snap1. Let's assume that, and I have created it at 7 a.m. Okay, 7 a.m. So as I told you, snapshot is a point in time image copy of my data. I think I've started recording also, right? Can someone confirm me?
Yes, Anaya. You
Okay,
started
thank.
recording.
Okay, thank you. So whenever I created a snapshot, whatever data I have on top of the original volume, the data image copies will be created inside the snapshot, not original data, just image copies of the data. Okay, and these image copies will be having pointers towards my original data. Okay, they'll be having pointers towards my original data on volume. So like this. Okay, a image copy will be having pointer towards a. Same way b will be having b image will be having b image and snapshot will be having pointer towards b, like that. Okay, like in the same way c and b. Okay, like that. So a snapshot initially it doesn't contain any data, it just contains only images. Okay, it contains only images. So the size of the snapshot when we created, it will be in mostly in kbs, or if your volume is very big and it contains a lot of data, it will be in mbs. very small. Okay, MB is based on the size of the volume and the data amount of data you have hosted on the volume. Okay, so after that, after the snapshot creation, I modified some data. For example, I have modified A, now it became A1. Okay, and I have deleted B and I modified again C as well. I made C as C1 and D is unchanged. I have not changed anything on D. I mean, I've modified this data intentionally as part of my work or as part of the data got modified when I'm installing some application or when I'm running some database query. Yeah, anything, whatever it is, the data modified. So whenever these things happen, right? So before whatever the data blocks that got modified, okay, those data blocks will be moved to the snapshot. Okay, those data blocks will be moved to the snapshot. Not only that, if I delete some data file or folder, the entire file or folder will be moved to the snapshot. Will be moved to the snapshot. This is how it will work. Okay, so I realized that I have deleted B accidentally. So what I can do, as I have the data in snapshot, I can restore the data from the snapshot. Okay, this is how snapshots will protect the data. Okay, now let's assume that okay, after data modifications, again another snapshot got created. Okay, again another snapshot got created. So when this snapshot got created, whatever data I have on top of that volume, that only I'll get it. Okay, now A got changed to A1, right? And I don't have B. I have deleted B, and again C also changed from C to C1. D remains unchanged. So whenever this happened, and one more thing, so I have modified A, right, and now it became A1. So the pointers to the first snapshot will be deleted. A change, actually it will not delete all the pointers. In A, for example, my size of the data A is 1 GB. Out of that I modified only 200 MB, something like that. So whatever the modified data, that 200 MB, the pointers towards those blocks only will be deleted, because before modification the 200 MB will be moved to the snapshot, right? And if I have deleted any file or folder, whatever the pointers towards that file or folder that I have deleted, everything will be deleted, because I don't have the data anymore in the volume. The data moved to the snapshots, so pointers are not required, right? Yeah, that's how. Okay, like this. But whatever the new snapshot that got created, again it will be having pointers towards the data. Okay, P, nothing in there. C also will be having pointer towards here. What about D? So D remains unchanged, right? So the second snapshot will be not having the pointer directly to the volume. Okay, it will be having pointer towards the first snapshot, because in the earlier snapshot also it contains the same data. So the pointer to the volume from the first snapshot is not deleted. So what it will do, and the second snapshot will be having pointer towards the first snapshot, and first snapshot will be having pointer towards the original data in the volume. This is how the snapshots will work. Okay. After the snapshot creation, if anything got changed, let's assume that my snapshot name is app2 and I have created it at 8 a.m. Let's assume that. Initially, again, every snapshot will be size will be very low. I mean, very minimum. It will be in KBs or MBs. Whenever we started modifying the data or deleting the data, as the data moves to the snapshots, it will grow. The snapshot will keep on growing in size. Okay. So, so from 8 a.m. onwards, if I make if I perform any changes on top of my volume wall1, from now onwards, Snap2 is responsible for protecting the volume. Snap2 is responsible for taking the changes, whatever happening on top of the volume. Okay. Because till from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., my Snap1 is responsible. Like if you change something, if you delete something, everything will be moved under Snap1 and the data will be protected by Snap1. But when we got another snapshot, now from now onwards, Snap1 will remain same. There will be no changes happened on Snap1. So whatever changes we are doing on volume, everything will be captured by Snap2 only. So everything will be captured to the latest snapshot. Okay. Okay. This is how the snapshot will work. Okay. For example, I have added another data. For example, let's assume that I don't have enough space here. Let me add it here. Yeah. Let's assume that I have added E. Okay, E data here. Okay, E data here. So whatever the data we are adding now, that will be not protected until someone creates the snapshot. Guys, just a second. I'll be back in a minute. Sorry for that. Okay. So yeah, whenever we are adding some data to the volume, the new data, whatever the new data blocks, they will be not protected by snapshots until next snapshot got created. For example, okay, I have added E after 8 a.m. Okay, and I have deleted E at 8:30. So that whatever the data I have added, E, that will be not captured under snapshot or snap 2. Okay, so as I have deleted at 8:30, as there is no snapshot that got created on top of the volume, you will be not able to recover the data. For example, I have another snapshot that got created at 9 a.m. I have not deleted E. Okay, let's assume that this is a snap 3. Okay, which got created at 9 a.m. So as part of the snapshot creation, okay, the data will be uh, the whatever the new data that I have added, E, that will be protected. Okay. But only thing is whatever the new data that you have added, if that got deleted before the snapshot creation, then you'll be not able to recover the data. Any data that deleted immediately before snapshot creation. Okay. Any questions?
Annaya,
Yeah,
maximum we can create how many snapshots on volume, Annaya?
I'll tell you all those things. Yeah.
Okay. If any data changes occurs means we can create another snapshot, or if any data changes are
A-
not made means we.
Actually, if you have a purpose, then only we'll create a snapshot manually. But normally there is a schedule which will create the snapshots automatically according to whatever the schedule you set. The snapshots will be created on top of the volume automatically.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Now let's see how. Let me show you how to create a snapshot manually. Okay. So volume snapshot. So vServer name and volume name. You can see the volume on snapshot on specific volume, or you can, if you don't mention the volume on vServer, then it will show you all the snapshots on all volumes. See, I have not created any snapshots. Then how come I got the snapshots? These all are snapshots only. That is because by default there is a schedule called default snapshot schedule and the default snapshot policy. So when you create a volume, if you have not mentioned anything related to snapshots, okay, then it will take the default snapshot policy and default snapshot schedule, and it will create snapshots on top of the volume. Okay, so let me create a snapshot manually. After that, I will see how to create, how to schedule the snapshots. Okay, wall one, I'm going to create a snapshot on wall one. Okay, these are the snapshots right now I have on top of wall one. Volume snapshot create vServer name, volume name, snapshot name. Okay, that's it. So if you run volume snapshot show, see, I'm able to see the snapshot that created now, snap one. Okay. So this is the size of my snapshot. As I told you, the basic size of the snapshot is in KBs only. If you delete some data on top of that volume, then only the data will be moved under snapshot and the snapshot will grow. Okay. Now, as Beulah asked, so we can create 255 snapshots on a single volume Okay, but this is up to only on tap 9.3, I guess. I forgot these things when they have started it. Up to data on tap 9.3 or 9.5, I don't remember. We can create only 255 snapshots on volume, but they increased the limit now. Okay, we can create up to 10. I'm not sure. I forgot the value. Let me check that. I think 1023. Yeah, 1023, I guess. Yeah, or 1025. I don't remember. You can create these many snapshots on a single volume. Okay, once this maximum limit got reached, if you want to create a snapshot, what you need to do, you need to delete the existing snapshot, or else it will not allow you to. Okay, uh, yeah, it will not allow you to create a snapshot, the new snapshot. So we have created the snapshot manually, right? Now let's schedule it. Okay, let's schedule the snapshot. So how to do that? There is a command to check the schedule. Normally, in OnTap, there are schedules by default, few schedules by default. If you want, you can use the existing schedules, or if the existing schedules does not meet your requirement, then you can create your own schedule and you can use it to create snapshots. Okay, let me show you that. The command is job schedule cron show. Okay, this is the command which will display you all the default schedules. These all are schedules. Okay, like if you see 5 minutes, that means every 5 minutes it will create snapshot. If you apply the schedule, 8 hour, that means it will create snapshot every 8 hour according to these times. Like it will create snapshot at 2:15 a.m., 10:15 a.m., 18:15, like that. Okay, daily. Daily means this according to the schedule, it will create snapshot at 0:10. 0:10 means nothing but midnight, right? Midnight 12:10 a.m. Okay, like that. So these are the schedules. Like any of these schedules does not meet your requirement. Like you need a specific, you have a specific requirement in mind. So what you can do, you can create your own schedule. Like let me do that. Job schedule cron create. So my requirement is I want to create snapshot. I want to run this schedule every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Okay, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 4 a.m. Okay, at 4 a.m. That is my requirement. Okay, then let me. You can put whatever name you want, but I just I'm using the same name so that by seeing the schedule, I'll come to know what it is. Okay, so so you need to select day of a week because you want it in particular days in a week, right? So Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Okay, right? And at what time you want, hour you need to select. So it is 4 a.m., right? So you need to type 4 here, 4 a.m. And the hours is a 24-hour clock. Like if you want it at 4 p.m., then it is 16. Okay, next minute. So 4 a.m. means you can put 0 here. For example, if you want to run it at 4:10, then you need to put 10 here. That means it will create us. It will run this job at 4:10. Okay, like that. You can specify the minutes as well. I executed 4:10. I created a 4:10 job. So if you apply this job to your snapshot, if you apply this schedule to your snapshot, then the snapshots will be created according to this schedule. Like every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you'll create snapshot at 4:10 a.m. Let's see. Job, schedule, cron, show. If you run this command, I'm able to see my schedule that I have created now. See, it is displaying Monday, Friday, Wednesday, Friday at 4:10 a.m. like that. Just let me know like if you have any schedule in your mind, so I'll create it and I'll show you how to do that. Just give me a schedule when you want if you want something, if you have something in your mind. Okay, I'll only tell. Okay, I need a schedule which requires like every first day of the month, 10th day of the month, 20th day of the month. Okay, that is my requirement. Okay, or let's do 10th, 20th, 30th. Okay, every month. So job, schedule, cron, show, sorry, create. For example, let's make it more complicated. I don't want it every month. I need it in only a specific months. Like I want it in January. I don't want it in February. I want it again in March. I don't want it in April. Like that. Okay. So schedule name, alternate month, 10, 20, 30, and time also. Time I'll put it like 11 p.m. Okay, 11 p.m. Just you can put whatever name you want. Okay. Now I need to pick which month I want. Okay. I just want it in January. I don't want it in February. I want again in March. April. I don't want it in April. Again May. Not June. Again July. September. November. Okay. Like that. Now, which day you want it? As I told you, I want it in 10th, right? So you need to pick the date here in day section. 10th day, 20th day, and 30th day. Okay. Next, what time? Hour. I want it at 11 p.m. Right? That means 23. Right? Minutes. Let's put it to 0. Okay. That's it. See. Yeah. Alternate month. This one. See, Jan, March, May, July, September, November. It will create on these dates at 11 p.m. Okay. Any questions?
No, Naya.
Okay. Thank you. Now let's see how we can use this schedule to create snapshots. Okay. So first, what we need to do, we need to create a snapshot policy. Okay. Volume snapshot policy. By default, we'll be having three policies. Okay. One is default policy, another one is default one weekly, and one more is none. As I told you, if you don't mention any snapshot policy while creating the volume, okay, while creating the volume, it will take this default snapshot policy. Okay, and according to that, it will create snapshots. Like here, if you see hourly, it used a schedule called hourly, and it used a schedule called weekly as the daily, and it used a schedule called weekly. And here the retentions, we'll talk about retentions now. Okay, don't worry, and ignore the snap mirror label and all. You can ignore that. We'll talk about that when we are discussing snap mirror. Okay, same thing here. For example, if you don't want snapshots to be created on top of any volume, then you need policy, create policy name, vol1 underscore policy. Let's assume that you can put whatever name you want, enable it to true. Now schedule, I want to use a 5-minute schedule. Now it is asking for the count. Okay, now it is creating snapshots according to the 5-minute schedule, but how many you want to maintain? You want to keep the retention as well, right? How many snapshots you want to maintain according the snapshot that created according to 5-minute schedule? I just want to maintain 100 snapshots. Okay, that means whenever the 101 snapshot got created, it will delete the first snapshot. Okay, like for example, let me mention only 12 for now. Okay, 12. Okay, so let's assume that it created snapshot at 7:05. Okay, and it created snapshot at 7:10, created snapshot at 7:15. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, now we'll create snapshot at 8 a.m. as well. Sorry, 8 a.m. Okay, now whenever it creates a snapshot at 8:05, okay, as I told you, I mentioned the retention to maintain only 12 snapshots. That means now if it creates a 8:05 snapshot, the count will be 13, right? So what it is going to do, it is going to delete the snapshot that got created, yeah, at 7:05. Then again it will be 12, right? When it creates snapshot at 8:10, it will delete the snapshot, second snapshot, like that. It will maintain only uh, the number of snapshots which we mentioned under retention section. Okay, that is what retention means. So let me pick another schedule. One more thing, you can apply, you can select multiple schedules and it will create snapshots according to all the schedules. Okay, for example, I just want to select daily schedule, and according to that, how many snapshots I want to maintain, count 2. For example, daily snapshots I want to maintain, for example, let's assume 90. Next, schedule 3. Now let me pick alternate schedule which I have created. And what about the count 3? Count 3, I just want to maintain 50. Like that, you can go up to 5 schedules in a single snapshot policy. You can set 5 schedules and retentions. Okay. Yep. So do you want to create it on top of vServer or cluster level? It's up to you. If you create it at cluster level, you can use the same schedule for same policy for all SVMs. But if you create it at SVM level, you can use it only for the volumes on top of a particular SVM. Mostly, let's create it at SVM level. And by default, it will create with a name, the schedule name only, like 5 minute underscore something snapshot name, like that it will create daily underscore snapshot name, something like that. Okay, but if you want to create it with a particular name, then you can select that here with option called prefix. For example, in schedule 3 I have mentioned the schedule, right? So it will include entire name in the snapshot. Okay, but this is very lengthy, right? I don't want it. Okay, I just want to set a prefix for this. Okay, I just want to set a prefix for this, but I need to set the prefix 3 number, because for schedule 3 only count 3 and prefix 3 can link. Okay, that's why I just want to keep something like alt month something, so that instead of the schedule name, the whatever the snapshots created according to this schedule will be created with this name. Okay, yeah, ignore snap mirror label, we don't need it now. We'll talk about that when we are discussing snapshot. Sorry, snap mirror. Okay, that's it. So volume snapshot policy show, see, it is going to show us the policy which we have created right now. See, according to 5 minutes it has to maintain 12 snapshots, according to daily it has to maintain 90, according to this particular schedule it has to maintain 50 snapshots. But again, you have to keep one thing in mind whenever you are setting the retention: the number of snapshot count you are configuring while you are creating a policy, it should not exceed the maximum snapshot count. I told you, right? Maximum we can create 1023 snapshots on top of a volume. So it should not exceed more than that, because volume will be not able to create more snapshots than that, right? That is the reason. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. So after creating snapshot policy, what we need to do? We need to apply the snapshot policy. Volume modify vServer name, volume name. Here we have a thing called snapshot policy. Under this, we need to apply this policy. That's it. It will throw an error. What it is saying is, like, as you are changing the snapshot policy, whatever the snapshots that got created according to old policy, deleting them is not responsible by new policy. You need to delete them manually once their retention is completed, or else they'll be there forever and they'll be keep on growing. Okay, any questions? Okay, now let's talk about, let's see, let's leave it so that it will create according to the schedule. We'll see that after some time we'll be able to see snapshots. Okay, before that let me show you what all snapshots we have. Volume snapshot show. See, we have only these snapshots, we don't have any 5-minute snapshots, right? Let's see, it will create one snapshot at 4:20. Okay, we'll see after some time. Meanwhile, let's discuss snapshot result. Snapshot result. So where these snapshots are storing, okay, I told you, right? Normally snapshots are just images initially, but when you started deleting the data or modifying the data, even they will grow in size, right? So where they are storing, they are storing inside your volume only. Again, only thing is we need to set a reserve for them. Okay, I don't know how many of you have observed it. When I created 10 GB volume, it is not showing entire 10 GB. It is showing something like 9.5 GB available, something like that. Even I don't have any data. Why? Because the space, whatever you don't see there, that is reserved for snapshots. Okay, so let's talk about the snapshot reserve. So normally these snapshots can be created at volume level as well as aggregate level up to I think, yeah, data on tab 8.3. Okay, but and one more thing is the snap reserve on volume is, yeah, up to 8.3, but from 9.0 onwards, from on tab 9.0 onwards, only the snapshots will be created at volume level by default. Till you can create snapshots at aggregate level, but that is not recommended. That is not recommended by Netapp. They are of no use. That is the reason Netapp has eliminated them. Okay, Netapp has eliminated them. See, for example, if you create a snapshot at aggregate level, on top of aggregate, you'll be having hundreds of volumes or maybe thousands also. What is the point? We normally, if you want to restore a snapshot on entire aggregate, it will revert all the volumes back, right? That is the reason. There is no point in maintaining the snapshot at aggregate level. That is a one thing. And one more thing is it is impacting the performance of your aggregate as well. Like if you create a snapshot at aggregate level, it has to scan all the blocks in the aggregate, right? What all blocks got changed, what all blocks got deleted, what all new blocks added, these things it has to scan, right? Which is impacting the performance of your aggregate as well, when you are maintaining aggregate level snapshots. That is the reason they have eliminated aggregate level snapshots from ONTAP 9. Only you can create a volume level snapshots. Okay, I don't remember. I forgot the on-tap versions actually when they have removed it. I think not 8.3. I think from till 7.3 only you have aggregate level snapshots. I think from 8.0, I'm not sure. I need to check that, or else you Google it, you'll get it. No one will ask you these questions, but yeah. Okay. Only volume level snapshots are available now. Okay. And when we talk about the reserves as well, okay, snapshot reserve up to data on tap 7.3, okay, up to data on tap 7.3, on aggregate level it is 5%, and on volume level it is 20% is the snapshot reserve for snapshots. That means if you create any aggregate, okay, 100 GB of aggregate, then 5% of that, that means 5 GB will be reserved. Or if you create a 100 TB aggregate, then 5 TB will be reserved for snapshots. Okay. The same way, when you create any volume, 100 GB volume, out of that 20 GB will be reserved for snapshots. That is how it was in a data on tap 7.3. But that is a very old version. But what they have done, they have changed it. Yeah, I think it is up to, yeah, 7.3 only. 7.3. Okay. So what they have done, they have changed these snapshot reserves. Okay. As Netapp is not recommending users to create snapshots at aggregate level, okay, what they have done, from on tap 8.0 onwards, they have changed the values to on aggregate level. Okay, the snapshot reserve is 0%. That means they are not reserving any space for snapshots. But on volume level, again on volume level also they have reduced it. They have reduced it to from 20% to 5%. Okay, because they thought that that is enough. That is the reason they have reduced it. And again, these things are default values only, not mandatory things. Okay, these are the default values. So when you create any volume from a ONTAP 9.0 onwards, okay, it will reserve 5% of the space. If you are still running on ONTAP 7.3 or earlier versions, when you create any volume, then it will reserve 20% of your volume space. These are the default values. But again, these can be changed. For example, I don't want I want more space for my snapshots. Okay, I want more space for my snapshots. So I can increase it. I can set my snapshot reserve to 10%. Yeah, I can do that on a particular volume, not on all the volumes. You can do it on a particular volume also. Okay, like that you can increase the snap reserve, or again you can decrease the snap reserve also based on your requirement. Okay, any questions on snapshot reserve? If you are good with the theory, I'll show you practically how to increase it and how to decrease it. Snapshot reserve. Okay. So volume show, again you can check it in fields instead of checking entire thing. This is the command percentage snapshot space. Okay, this is the command which will show you how much of percentage of space reserved on each and every volume. As I told you, 5% is the default, right? Because we are on latest ONTAP version 9.7, 9.8. Okay, which is way beyond the, they have changed this limit. Okay, so 5%. Now I want to change it on my wall one. I want to set it to 7%. Yeah, you can do that. Volume, modify, vserver name, volume name, percentage snapshot space. Let's put 7 here. That's it. No impact. No impact because of this. See, now it increased to 7%. For example, on wall 3, I'm not maintaining any snapshots. So let's set it to 0. That means I don't want any reserve for snapshots. See, set it to 0. That means there is no reserve for snapshots. Okay, this is how you can increase or decrease the snapshot reserve anytime according to your requirement. Let's talk more about it. Any questions so far? Okay, so now as I told you, let's assume that I have created a volume. Okay, my volume name is vol1 and it is a 100 GB volume. And as I told you, by default, 5% of the space will be reserved for snapshots. Five GB snapshot, and whatever the remaining, that we'll call it as data, or you can call it as a space also, data or space reserve for your normal data. Okay, so let's assume that I have configured a snapshot policy. Snap policy called snap policy 1, and I'm maintaining a retention of 120 snapshots. Entire all schedules together, I'm maintaining 120 snapshots. So whatever, but I have reserved only 5 GB of space um, for this volume. So maintaining 120 snapshots in 5 GB, is that enough? No, right? I mean, again, it is not like if you are maintaining higher count of snapshots, it will cross more than that. Again, that depends on how much of data changes happening on your volume actual data. Okay, right? That depends on that. For example, let's assume that there are huge amount of changes happening on my volume, which will move the changed blocks to under snapshots, and my snapshots will keep on growing, right? So but I'm not taking look at the snapshot reserve. Now let's assume that my snapshots reserve is full, entire snapshot reserve is full, it has utilized all 5 GB. Now it is creating another snapshot, but right now my snapshot reserve is full. Will Can my on tap able to create a new snapshot? Yes, it can. So the way they have designed here is snapshots can utilize the space from the data reserve as well. Okay, for example, if my snap reserve is full, my snapshots can go beyond that, and they can utilize the free space in data reserve, or whatever it is, space reserve as well, and snapshots can be created. Okay, it will not I mean, if snapshot reserve full, will not stop creating snapshots. Okay, did you got it what I'm saying? So yeah, even for example, I have created a volume called vol2. Again, let's assume that this is a 50 GB, and I have configured a snap reserve of 0% here. That means no snap reserve. Everything is all entire space. 100 GB is for 100 GB is for my data only. Can I create snapshots here? Yes, you can create. As I told you, you don't need a dedicated space for snapshots. Okay, you don't need a dedicated space for snapshots, dedicated reserve. Snapshots can be created on data reserve as well. Okay, now let's talk it in the opposite way. Okay, now I have created another volume, okay, called vol3, and the size is 10 GB. Let's assume that. And again, I have configured a snapshot reserve of 10%. Let's assume that. Okay, that means out of 10 GB, 1 GB will be reserved, right? Snapshot reserve. 9 GB is for data or space reserve. Now let's assume that I have copied a plenty of data, but I'm just copying the new data, but I'm not deleting or changing any existing data. That means only snapshots will consume whenever something changed or deleted, right? Whenever we copy some new thing, it will not goes under snapshots. It will go to reserve normal space only. Let's assume that whatever the 9 GB, that is almost full. That is full. I don't have any space to put new data. But out of 1 GB, my snapshot occupied roughly like 100 MB only, very small snapshots. Okay, remaining whatever it is 990 MB, 900 MB plus the space is available. So will that free space in snapshot reserve, will it allow me to copy my original data there? No, you cannot, or ONTAP will not allow you to copy the original data, okay, to the space reserved for your snapshots. Okay, but snapshots can utilize the data reserve and create a snapshots. Okay, it is the opposite way. Snapshots can go beyond snap reserve and create snapshots and on data reserve and occupy the data reserve, but my data cannot occupy the space that reserved for snapshots, even though I'm not using I mean the snapshots are not using entire space. Okay, so this they'll ask you this in interview. They'll give you as a scenario and they'll ask you this in interview. Yeah, any questions?
No, Naya.
Okay, cool. Mm, okay. Now let's take a look at snapshots that got created according to our schedule. The server name, volume name. Yeah. See now earlier we don't have these 5-minute snapshots, right? Now I'm able to see the snapshot that got created according to 5-minute schedule as well. Okay. Yeah. According to schedule, it will keep on creating the snapshots. Now you can run this command directly. You don't need to mention volume directly. You can mention snapshot also. Okay. What else? What else I need to discuss? Reserve is completed. Schedule is completed. Yeah. Now let's do a restore. Okay. I don't have CIFS configured, right? Okay. Let me configure CIFS quickly. After that, what we are going to do, I'll create a CIFS share. I'll copy some data to that particular volume via CIFS protocol. After that, I'll take a snapshot and I'll delete the data and I'll show you how to restore the data. Okay, just allow me some time. The server name. Um, oh, okay. We have to do everything. The server services, DNS, create the server name, demo.netapp.com. You know the procedure, right? Already 192.168.0.253. That is my volume, domain controller volume. Yeah, that's it. Now network interface show. Let me see. Yeah, I have libs created already. So normally you in order to configure CIFS, you need to map these IPs to the DNS, right? For example, I don't want to use a DNS name. I just want to use a individual IPs only. Okay. Then, and one more thing is, according to my organization requirements, we have decided not to use the DNS name. Okay, due to some requirement. Okay, application dependency. But in order to configure CIFS, you must add the IPs to the DNS. Then only it will allow. Give it a try. Okay. It will throw an error because we have not added the IPs to the DNS. Oh, okay. I have already added them. Okay, let's talk about that scenario little later, maybe in future classes. But now let's not discuss it, and I don't want to confuse again. Okay, so the server CIFS share create share name share one path slash wall one server name. Yeah, that's it, right? So now let me access the share. Okay, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy more data uh, so that we can test it properly. See, I have plenty actually here. I'll copy everything and I'll copy this to the share. Okay, now let me take a snapshot because this data is not yet protected because I have no snapshot created after that. Okay, let me create a snapshot manually, or anyway we have scheduled a 5-minute snapshot, right? So at 4:45 again it will create a new 5-minute snapshot, and the data will be protected in that snapshot. Okay, or yeah, let's don't wait, let's create a snapshot create server name, volume name, and snapshot name. Let's snap 2 or snap 2. Okay, snapshot show server name, volume name. See, I've created a snapshot too. And if you want to know when it got created, you can get the time as well. See, it got created at November 18, 4:42, right? 4:42, now 4:43, just few seconds back. Now, let me delete this data. Let me delete all the data. First, I'll show you how to restore everything. After that, I'll show you how to restore a particular file or folder. Okay, now I have deleted the data. And if you look at the size earlier, my snapshot size is only 140 KB. Now, let me run the same command again. If you observe now, what is my snapshot size now? 1.38 GB. Because as I have deleted all the data, entire data moved under my snapshot. Okay, now let me show you the share again. It is empty, nothing in there, share. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to perform a restore. So whenever you got a restore request, okay, what you need to do, you need to check with clients when they saw the data uh, last time. Like what is the time frame when they saw a particular file or folder, or when they saw the data, they came to you that the data got deleted and that they need a restore. But they have to give us a time frame from which date and which time they want us to restore the data. Actually, we can see the data by browsing the snapshots also, but yeah, normally we'll get the time frame from them, and we'll also confirm from our end. So now let me show you how to browse the snapshots. Generally, after that, you can do normally tilt. Okay, after share name, tilt snapshot. You need to enter this path. Okay, now we don't have access to the snapshot. I told you, right? I'll show you one property when we are discussing about the properties on CIFS. Server CIFS share properties, add property, share name. Okay, we need to add a property called show snapshot. So what it will do, it will enable access to snapshots from a share level. From share level also, if the share is created on top of a volume, then from share itself you can access the volume. If you refresh it, it will show you the snapshot directory here. See, it is showing a hidden directory called the fill snapshot. If you go in there, it will show you all the snapshots, so you can access the snapshots. So when this snapshot got created, it has only this data. Like that, by browsing the snapshot also, we can check. Okay, I don't have the data what I need. When I access snapshot 2, see, here it is. So if I restore the snapshot, then I'll get the entire data, right? Like that also we can confirm from our end. But generally, uh, before confirmation, we'll get the time frame from their end as well, the client who asked me to restore. Okay. Generally, what you can do, you can copy paste the data from here as well by accessing snapshots. But when you lost entire data, it is not recommended. Don't do this way. Okay, what you need to do, there is a command called snapshot restore. Snapshot restore, not restore file, restore. Okay, restore vserver name, volume name. What is the snapshot you want to use for restore? Snap to. Okay, that's it. Hit enter. It is telling that snapshot copy snapshot 2 is not most recent copy. Promoting a snapshot copy will delete all copies after it. What it is saying is snap 2 is not a latest one. After snap 2, there is another snapshot that got created. Do you want to use that or not? That is what it is asking. And one more thing, as this particular snapshot got created after the snapshot, if you perform restore, then you will lose the snapshot as well, because when you perform a snapshot restore, the volume will go back to the state where it was. Yeah, where I mean the state where it is when during the time frame. So the snapshot got created at 4:42, right? So it will go back to that particular state. So at that time we don't have the snapshot, right? So yeah, you will lose the snapshot. And also, if my client copied some data after the snapshot, we will lose that data as well. So whenever you are doing restore, if you lost entire data on a volume, then only we'll follow this procedure. That is the reason I have deleted all the data. Okay, no problem. Ignore that. Ignore all the warnings. Now check that. See, I got entire data. So we'll follow this procedure. Oh, not here. Yeah. See, I got the data on share one. We'll follow this procedure only if we lost entire data on volume. If you have to restore entire data, okay, all the data. And if you take a look at the snapshot size now, it will be again, it will be in KBs. See, again, it came back to KBs because again, the data moved from snapshot to original volume. Again, it will create a pointers after restore completed. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Now, for example, now let's assume that we lost only a couple of files. I lost these 4 files, okay, which are active, starting with active. Okay, I lost all these things which are starting with active. Someone deleted the data. Now I want to restore the data. I have my client created a restore request for those files. Now only few files got deleted, right? But in this case, it is not recommended to perform entire volume restore from the ONTAP command line. In that case, if you want to restore a particular file or folder, we'll do it by accessing the snapshots. Just go to the snapshot, find a proper snapshot where you can find the data, copy the data, from the snapshot and paste it. That's it. Okay, this is just like you are copying the data from snapshot to volume, uh, normal copy, just like normal copy. Okay, see, now I got the data back active in my original share. Okay, this is another way of restore. Normally we'll follow this procedure if we lost only few files or folders, but if we lost entire data, then we'll follow the command line procedure. Okay, any questions? In some um, organizations, okay, the data will be restored by clients automatically. But how come? Like for example, if we provided access to the clients to the snapshots, they might do something, right? No, actually snapshots are immutable. Immutable means we'll be not able to do anything to snapshots from here. Like if you, for example, snap2 is there, let me try to delete that. No, it will fail. You cannot delete snapshots, or you cannot delete the data inside snapshots. Now let me try to delete some of the data from snapshots. It will throw an error. No, it will not allow you to delete a snapshot or the data in the snapshots from client side. But you can delete the snapshot from ONTAP CLI. Entire snapshot. Again, you cannot delete some of the data from ONTAP as well. If you want, you have to delete entire snapshot. That's it. Okay. So there is no harm even if you provide access to snapshots to your clients so that they can do the restores whenever they lost the data on their own. But generally we don't do in this way. Um, Generally we'll make this folder hidden only. Uh, Let me remove that property. vServer IFS share properties, remove share name, show snapshot property I want to remove. But if you see, still show previous versions is there. So if you refresh that, I'll be not able to see the snapshot folder anymore, and I'll be not able to access it. In some organizations, even if you add that option, you'll be not able to see that. That time, what you need to do, you can access the snapshot by this path, tilt snapshot like this. You can access. Okay. Or if you don't remember the path, if you want the snapshot folder to be visible to you when you after adding that path, after adding that option, if you have to uncheck this. So what it will do, it will show you the hidden items. By default, snapshot folder will be yeah, looks like a hidden folder. Okay, all these are Windows things again. Yeah, normally just go to properties and there is a tab called previous versions. So from here also we can access the snapshots. So what it will do, it is nothing but it is again snapshots of our volume only, the whatever the snapshots created on top of our volume only. Normally we don't give access to snapshot folder or a snapshot directory to the clients. We'll ask them to restore it from the previous version. It will show you when the snapshot got created. So based on that, what they need to do, they need to right click here from the previous versions and open. So it will take them to the particular snapshot there. They can restore the data from there. For example, 423, right? Our snapshot got created. Yeah, 420 something. Okay, I think it will not show us manual snapshot. Okay, yeah, 442. Here's the snapshot, snap2. Okay, I'll open it. So I'll be able to find the data. From here, they can copy it from here and there. Okay, So by enabling the show previous versions, okay, they can restore the data on their own. Just go to properties, go to previous version tab, and they can access the snapshots. As I told you, they'll be not able to delete anything from the snapshots. Okay, this is a one way. But if you remove this option, they'll be not able to see the show snapshots on the show previous version. Let me delete show previous versions. Okay, after that, let me refresh it. Now let's give it a try. See, it will show you nothing. It will show you empty. Then they'll be not able to restore the snapshots from data from snapshots. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, no, yeah.
Yeah.
The lab.
Normally, most of the organizations will enable that option, show previous version. So clients will be able to see the snapshots as a previous versions, and they can do the data. They can restore the data on their own. Again, this show previous versions is a Windows mechanism actually, which Netapp is using. Both are them will work together and they'll give you the data. I mean, yeah, they'll give you a chance to restore the data. Okay. Yeah. Any questions? Okay.
But whatever we practice today is all belongs to CAFS, right?
Not CIFS. It belongs to snapshots.
Windows.
Even from NFS
Okay.
also, it is the same. Let me show you that. Yeah. Don't want to confuse you. Uh, volume modify. Let me apply the same. Let me see if I have any volume, or else let me create a volume. Volume create. vServer name. Volume name called vol11 and size 10 GB and security style Unix and junction path slash vol11. Okay, and snapshot policy vol1 underscore. I'm applying the same snapshot policy that created for vol1. You can use a single same snapshot policy for multiple volumes. I mean, if that snapshot policy met your requirement, if it is meeting your requirement. Okay, so according to the policy, it will create snapshots on the schedules and all. It will create snapshots on by vol11 as well. Okay, so for example, I don't want to wait. Yeah, okay, let me configure NFS. Meanwhile, it will copy some. Yeah, it will create a snapshot. Server NFS show. Yeah, I have already configured it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a export policy. Server export policy show. And yeah, I have already export policy. Let me define policy so that whatever the servers in this export policy and the export policy rules, they'll get access to the volume, right? Now let me go to Linux server. Let me create a folder called vol11. Okay, let me mount it here. svm1 colon backslash svm11, sorry, forward slash one vol11. Okay, df-h cd slash vol11. Unless I don't see any data, dir test touch test.txt. Okay, I've created a folder and a file. Now snapshot show vserver name volume name, wall11. See, I have already snapshot got created, right? Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create another snapshot. Snap11. Okay. Now I'm sure that my data is protected. What I'm going to do, let me delete this data. Okay, let me delete both the test and test folder and test.txt. Okay, ignore these comments. Okay, see, I don't see the data now. When I type ls, I'm not seeing anything. So normally for NFS also, if we lost everything on a volume, it is not based on a protocol. Snapshots is independent on protocol. It is same for both NFS and CIFS. But only the mechanism how they restore is little different for file level and folder level restore. Let me show you. Now let me restore snapshot, restore vserver name, volume name. What is the snapshot I want to use? I want to use a snap11. It's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah. Okay. Now let me check the data again. I got the data. Same, right? Same procedure. For example, now let me remove only test.txt. In this case, it is not recommended to restore everything, right? Because I might have so much of data under my test directory, which will also go back, right? I may lose the latest data. That's why in this case, from here also, from Linux and also, clients can restore the data. So ls-a, if they run this command, see, it is showing snapshot directory. ls-a will show hidden directories as well, this command. Normal ls will display only directories, but ls-a will display hidden directories. See, as they are able to see the snapshots, cd, enter that. Now I'm inside snapshots, and if I run ls, see, I'm able to see my snapshots here. See, I'll go to the particular snapshot, and I'll be able to see both the files. Now from here, what I'll do, I'll copy uh, pwd so that I'll come to know the folder path, right? Yeah, cp, this is the path, and from this path, I just want to copy test.txt to where I want to copy to wall11. That's it. Now go to your original wall11 and see, I got my test.txt back, right? Normally on Linux level, we don't do the restores. What we'll do, we'll give access to clients, whoever managing Linux or Linux team or clients, access to the snapshots so that they can do the restore on their own. We just help them how to do that. Okay, if you are familiar with Linux, you can help them with the technical part as well. If you are not familiar with Linux, yeah, you need to tell them, like, just access the snapshot directory which will be hidden inside. Yeah, like that. For example, you don't want that snapshot directory to be visible to them, then what you can do, you can make it hidden. You can remove the access as well. Vserver nfs modify vserver, oh yeah, vserver name. What I want to modify is, I want to hide the snapshot. See, v3 hide snapshot from client. That means what it will do, it will hide the snapshot from the client. Enable. If you enable this, by default in NFS, snapshot will be visible, but in CIFS, snapshots will be hidden. Okay, it is opposite way in NFS and CIFS. Now, if I run this command, if I make this change, Now, if I run ls-a, I'll be not able to. Yeah, still I'm able to see this. Okay, let me do this, okay. See, I'm not able to see that snapshot folder. The snapshot folder will be hidden from client. Even if we run ls-a command also, it will be not visible to him because I made some change. Like I just don't want to see the client's snapshot folder. But whenever it is required, I'll disable it so that it will be visible again, so they can perform the restore. Again, I'll uh, enable it so that they'll be not able to see it. Okay. There is no harm if you allow them to see the snapshot folder, because as I told you, it is immutable. They'll be not able to delete or they'll be not able to modify the data. Okay. Any questions? Yeah. Okay. If you don't have any questions, then let's stop it for today. Yeah, we'll discuss the remaining things related to snapshots tomorrow. Yeah, Krishna.
No,
Any
no,
doubt?
no. No, I'm good, Naveen. Yeah, it was
Are you checking the
nice thinking.
functionality?
No.
You raised your hand. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Chalo then.
yeah, I saw that now. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.